Hey, what's going on everyone? Shiva Sapkota here with another Tesla accessory review. Today we're taking a look at this brand new refrigerator slash warmer. So it can cool the drinks down to 17 degrees Fahrenheit. It can also warm your drink, for example milk, all the way to 131 degrees Fahrenheit. So super cool and handy accessory to keep your drink cool while you are on the road. And this is really easy to install. It's got plenty of space inside. There's no messy wiring coming out of anywhere. Fully integrated within the central console. This product comes from TLER, a Tesla accessory company from where we have reviewed a lot of products in the past, including the side refrigerator and a ventilated seat cover for Tesla Model 3 and Model Y. They have a lot of other products, and for the entire month of August, they're having huge sales on already discounted prices. And if you use the discount code Shiva Tesla, you save even more. Let's get started. Let's first take a look at what everything the packaging contains here. Of course, you got your fridge. We'll talk about this in just a second. They also send you a USB-C bypass. It looks like this, where you got your USB-C male, USB-C female, and I'll show you where you can connect this on the central console. So it's super easy. It's not as difficult as putting into the 12-volt outlet. This is really easy. I'll show you where that is. And then this just plugs into the fridge over here. They also send you a pry tool. They send you a Allen key that is perfect for that bottom central console panel. I'll show you what that does. And here is your divider. This is what it looks like. It is supposed to kind of mimic that central console area over there. It is going to make you lose a little bit of space, so there's no denying on that. But we'll do some measurement as to how much space you're losing. And if you look at it on the back over here, these are the pins that just plug in directly on the central console panel in the back. These are kind of a one-to-one match. If you imagine the central console panel kind of looks like this. So this will just directly plug into the back, and yeah, there you go. So there is that push over here. There's the hinge, and then this will act as a warmer and a cooler, and we'll talk about the features. And these are your vents over here. On the back, you can see some of the coils from the side over here. There are a few copper coils, so there's the condenser over there. Super straightforward, unique design. Let's go ahead and get it installed. Now we're going to reach underneath over here and then remove this panel. Then we're going to remove this panel. We're going to pop this one out, make all the connection, and then put this one back. I'll show you how to do that next. Now you're going to take the pry tool that they provided, and you're going to reach underneath over here on this panel and then start prying out from the side. As you see, this just comes out because it just has a few clips that are connected on the bottom piece. Then you will have this exposed, the blue plug over here. Now we're going to be removing these two screws. Now you can either use this Torx 20 Allen key that they send, the Torx key that they send to remove this screw, or in our case, we got our handy screwdriver with the Torx 20 bit over here. I highly recommend this screwdriver for projects like this, where especially in the difficult to reach areas, because it got the light over here and then just a small screwdriver, and that just turns around. So what we are gonna do is we're going to use that to remove this Torx 20 bit. Here's the other one, so we're going to remove both of them from here. Now before we remove this middle panel out, we got to remove this top panel, and this is so easy. All you have to do is reach behind over here and then pop this out. As you see, this is just connected using some clips over here, and this pops right out. We got to remove this USB-C connector. This is where we need to make that bypass. So let's remove this first, and then I'll show you how to make the bypass. This is super easy. You just have to lift it just a little bit. If you look at it closely over here, there's this notch. You just have to lift it just a little bit, and then while this is lifted, you can just pull this out. So that's it. That's how simple it is. Now you can completely disassemble this air vent unit over here. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove this bracket. Removing this is also pretty easy. You just have to grab it kind of from the bottom and then pop this out. And as you look at it, there's just a few clips that these are connected over here. There's 3 clips and 3 clips, and this just comes right out. Next, we are going to make this USB-C bypass. Remember the cable that I showed you earlier? That looks like this. There's the male and female USB-C, and then there's got that power. This is the one that powers the actual fridge. This is the one that is coming from Tesla, and all we have to do is we got to connect this male and female. So this is the cable coming from Tesla. We just have to connect this two, And now we are going to be plugging this one into the USB-C port over here from the air vent, and then this white plug just goes and plugs into the fridge. So let's go ahead and bring the fridge in now, then we're going to make that connection. Go ahead and make this connection. So this is the one that we bypassed with the USB-C. Now all we are gonna do is take this male port over here and then plug it into the female port right over here, and it just plugs in like this. So this is good to go. Just make sure that this is plugged in all the way. Just give it a push and we are good. We can actually feel this refrigerator running. Now, as you see, there is power, so we know that this is working. Now, to fit this thing, it's pretty interesting actually. If you look at it, they made this so that it is a perfect fit. So this bottom pin actually goes and plugs in right over there. The second pin, the third pin, all of these pins align exactly, perfectly with this opening. So that and that. So exactly like how we removed that panel and this panel earlier, all we have to do now is to push this in. Just align it from the bottom, and if you look at it, this pin is going to go right over here. So you see right there, that pin right there, it aligns pretty well, and we just have to push this in. So as I said, just align this, make sure that the bottom portion fits well within the holes over there, and then once everything is good to go, you just push this in, and this just goes in really nicely, and it secures into its place. So there you go. This is good to go. Now the final step is just to include this pin over here, the USB-C port, and then plug it in right over here. There's just this notch that aligns together, and then you just push it in. So you push this in. Now we're good to go. Now we're ready to put this thing back on over here, but just keep in mind there is this pin in the bottom that goes into this opening over here, and then there's the exact same thing on the other side. There is the pin, as you see in the bottom, that goes into that hole over there, and then you have got this pins in the very middle, so that guy and that guy plugs into over here. So that's how you are going to align this whole thing. So we will just push this from the top, make sure that that is aligned, and we're just going to push it everywhere, and there you go. So we're not going to be using this piece and the two screws, so make sure you keep them securely somewhere where you remember, because if you don't want this fridge in the future, you're going to want all of this. So we have successfully installed this. Let's go ahead and talk about the settings. Press and hold on this power button here, and the display comes up where you can adjust the temperature by doing plus and minus over here. So plus, the maximum on the cool setting is 10 degrees Celsius. So this is Celsius, which is, so 10, 9 by 5 plus 30. So that's 50 degrees. So that's exactly 50 degrees over here on the higher end on Fahrenheit. And then you can go down to, let's see, what is it? -8. So -8 is your lower setting. So -8 gives you roughly 17.5, 17.5, 17.6. So about 17.5 degrees Fahrenheit here with -8. So on the cool setting, you can go anywhere from 17.5 degrees Fahrenheit all the way, looks like, to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And so once you set this up, so if you want to set this up to, let's say, 3 or 4 degrees, 5 degrees Celsius, this is in Celsius. I haven't figured out a way to convert this to Fahrenheit yet. And you just leave this for a couple of seconds, it flashes, and that is the setting that is going to get to this. It's a thermostat. So right now, what this does is now from 28, it is going to keep going down all the way to that, whatever temperature we have set. And if you look at it, now this does not work, and that is because there is child locked in here as soon as this goes into that mode where it is cooling. So to get out of that, just press and hold on to this for just a little bit, and then the child lock comes out. Then you can make the setting over here, so you can increase the setting. Now this cool, this is not touch screen, so you can't change from cool to heat here. To do that, you gotta press and hold over here, and then when you do that, as you saw, the heat setting came on. So let's see the lowest on the heat setting over here. So the lowest is 10, so 10 degrees Celsius, which is 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And let's go all the way to the highest setting on the heat over here. So it's still going. Wow, that's hot. So 49, 50, 55. So 55, what is that? So that's 131 degrees Damn, that is hot. So it can go all the way to 131 degrees Fahrenheit using this setting. So if we just leave this, right now it's 28, it's gonna get to 55. So 131 degrees, that is crazy. So it will get to that. And as I said, this becomes inactive. There is a child lock over here. You just press and hold. Now that becomes active again. Of course, we're going to press and hold and then leave this into cool settings. So that is all the settings here. I did not see any unit conversion settings. If I figure that out, I will let you know. Let's go ahead and let this cool, and then we'll do some temperature testing. But to turn this off, just press and hold, and it is gone. Now, talking about the capacity of this refrigerator, this is a 4.6 liter, so it is about 1.2 gallons. And unfortunately, I do not have a 12-ounce Coke can. I only have the 7.5-ounce smaller size cans over here. And with this orientation, just keep in mind there's a curvature on the back, so you can't just this kind of sticks out a little bit because of that curve. So there is 5 of them over there, and I can put this one here, and I can put 2 more. So I could fit as much as 8 7.5 ounces cans over here. They say that you should be able to fit 6 of the 12 ounces, and I don't think you have a space for 6. 5 for sure, but I don't think you can fit 6 in here, because if you think about it, you can't put 3 of them in the bottom because they're going to be too big. Even just with the 7.5 ounces, you see there's not enough space to fit 3 of them in the bottom. So I'm not sure what they're talking about. And if I put it over here, just stack them, 3 of them, these are 7.5 ounces can, and there's barely any space. So I couldn't do the 3 and the 3 in the back if it was the 12 ounces can. So 5, I think you'll have plenty of space to fit. 6, I think you're pushing it with the regular cans. Next, we're going to do some temperature testing over here. So what we'll do is take our infrared gun and then check the temperature before. We're going to cool it down for about 30 minutes, check the temperature then to see how accurate the temperature reporting is. So right now, in the back wall, we're getting 88.8. On the bottom wall, 88.7. The top wall, 88.8. So looks like somewhere in the 88s that what we're seeing over here. That is the temperature outside as well. It's showing 88 degrees. So looks like that's what we're seeing inside the car. So let's close this. I'm gonna actually put a water bottle in here as well to see how well it cools this. And then we're going to close this. Now let's turn this on and let this cool down. So press and hold, and we are going to put this to the maximum it can go. So -8, which is 17.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're gonna let this go to that. Right now it's showing us at 34, so we're going to let it go to -8, and then we'll see how long that takes, and we'll do some measurement along the way. And just so that I don't have to sit around right here while the fridge does this, I am going to close the door and go inside. But as long as I have the Sentry mode turned on, this is going to stay on. As you can see, the main screen is off, but we have got the refrigerator still running because we have got the Sentry mode turned on. Here is a 10-minute check, and we went from 34 degrees Celsius, which is 93 Fahrenheit, to about 21, which is right around 70. So drop about 12-13 Fahrenheit in 10 minutes, which is very impressive. So let's keep going. All right, 28 minutes in, 0 degrees. So we are at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, so 0 degrees Celsius. Let's go ahead and test the temperatures over here. First of all, the water bottle feels nice and cold. Let's go ahead and measure the temperature of the water bottle. And we are getting 67. So went from about 88 to right around 66 on the water bottle here. So let's go ahead and measure the temperature of everything else. The bottom portion, I can tell this feels really nice and cold, and the icing is already forming, and we have barely opened the door. 13 degrees. Wow, that is impressive. So 12 degrees. Let's see the back over here. We're getting 10 degrees in the back. Let's do the sidewall. These are probably warmer. So 53 degrees on this side. 55 degrees on that side. So the side walls are definitely warmer. Let's do the top wall. we got 8 degrees. So the top is even cooler than the bottom, which is very, very impressive here. So overall, the average, it probably averages out to 32 degrees, which is the 0 degrees Celsius over here. Now we did the cooling test, let's do a heating test. Right here, we're going to turn the power on. I have set the heat to maximum, which is 131. And as you can see, it is a orange light here because it's heating. So let's do the temperature test now. It is 79 in the back wall, 79.3 on that wall, 78, and 78.4. So let's see how well it heats up. We're just going to let this sit for a little while and see if it can get to that temperature. Actually want to put this cup of water over here. Let's measure the temperature of this. Right now we're seeing 75.9, so 76 degrees Fahrenheit with this water. Now let's put it in and then we'll measure the temperature of the water after it heats up. So it has been about 8 minutes. We are at 39-40 degrees now. So let's give it a little bit more time. So it has been exactly 15 minutes and we are at 54 degrees. Now 55. So it took 15 minutes to go from whatever temperature that we were in the 20s, or maybe it was the low 30s, I'll check and let you know, to now 55 degrees Celsius. So this is 131 degrees Fahrenheit. So very, very hot. Let's go ahead and open this and then we'll check the water temperature. And oh yeah, it feels really hot over here. The cup itself feels hot. Let's go ahead and measure the water temperature. So water temperature is 86.7. So the water, I don't think it hit up too much. The cup is at 92.3. Now let's check the surface. So let's check the surface over here. The back, 164 degrees, 138 degrees. Over here, the side wall is 114. And this is 108. Wow. As you can see, that is super hot. 160 degrees. And the top wall is 157 degrees. So before we install the refrigerator here, I want to do some testing with the measurements. So right now we are seeing 10.5 inches from this top to over here to the seat. So 10.5 over here. We're going to do the very bottom over here, the bottom space to bottom space. We're seeing about 19.5 inches from the floor to the floor. And then let me do one right here, because if you are using that as a leg space, somewhere in the middle over here, we're seeing about 15 inches. So we're going to take those measurements again after we install the refrigerator over here and see how much space we lose. And if you are gonna use this as a leg space, how tight it's going to be, because now you're gonna have to do this with the fridge over here. So let's do some testing. Of course, there is no change from here. We are exactly looking at 10.5 inches that we saw earlier, because this is exactly on the same spot as we removed. We just put it back. But this is where the space is going to be a little bit constrained from the very, very middle. Now to the seat, this distance is about 8 inches, just a little more than 8 inches over here. So we lost quite a bit, because this whole thing over here, we probably lost about 6 inches of space from here. So just keep that in mind. You are going to lose the space. And then from the very bottom, you still have a little bit of leg room over here, I would say. We are measuring about a foot before, or actually this goes through, but not a lot of space. So from where the space is, we're taking about a foot. So I am 5'9", and I am sitting over here in the very middle seat. And generally the middle seat doesn't have as much space, but right now, because with the fridge, as you see, my feet are literally touching the fridge over there. So yes, you do lose that space, but what I could do, I could always do that, and I have more leg room. Person that is sitting over here has leg room. So something gotta go if you want a product like this, which is now you just lose a little bit of leg space. You can still put a floor mat. There's still a couple of inches in the bottom, probably about 2 inches in the bottom, Let me just verify that for you really quick. Look like 1.5 inches in the bottom, so you can still put another floor mat on top of this floor mat. So there is that clearance. I wanted to make it very, very clear that you do lose some leg space. All right, so after installing this and doing all kinds of temperature testing, here's my verdict. Let's start with my likes, and then we'll move on to my dislikes. First of all, I really like the integrated design and the installation process. The installation took 15 minutes and it is fully integrated. We didn't have to remove crazy amount of parts. We didn't have to do any OBD bypass. Everything was just done with that one connector on the top, and all those panels just pop out. There were just 2 screws in the bottom, and that's it. And when you install this, we didn't have to put any of those panels back on. Everything is fully integrated. It sits behind that central console area, and when you look at it from the back, it looks integrated. So they did a design that is not only easy to install but also aesthetically pleasing, and most importantly, very functional. There is no wires dangling around. We don't have to route a cable to the 12-volt outlet, not in the back, anywhere. It's just everything is fully integrated and embedded within the design on the central console. So installation, the design, aesthetic of all of this, I commend them for that. Really good job. I also like the performance of it. We did the testing where it dropped the temperature from 90 degrees all the way down to 32 degrees in within 25 minutes of cooling. Then on the heating side, it went from somewhere on the 80s all the way to 131 degrees within 15 minutes. So it rapidly cools, it rapidly heats up. So the temperature wise, it did an amazing job. I can see the condenser in the bottom, all those copper coiling, everything is working really hard. But at the same time, it does not make a lot of noise. Unless you open it and then just leave it open for a really long time where the icing forms, that is when it starts making some noise. But without that, it was a very quiet solution that just sits in the back center console and just integrated. I really like where it sits. It performs really well. Now on to some of my dislikes about this unit and feedback for TLER. First of all, this does not show temperatures in Fahrenheit. It only shows temperature in Celsius, so which is a bummer for people in the United States. We want to see temperatures in Fahrenheit. So you got to do your own math. Celsius times 9/5 plus 32, that's your math. Or Google it. That is the easiest solution. But I was bummed that they didn't, I don't know why, right? It would make sense. They were going to sell this in the US market. Just have that temperature conversion would have made a lot of sense. So in the future design, I hope they do that. Next thing is you do lose some space. In their website, they said it's a minimal space loss and you can still put your feet over there, which is true, but the feet is really, really tight when I tried that earlier. So just keep that in mind. If you are planning on using that space in the front for any type of storage, or if you're just going to stretch your feet there, you are going to have a hard time. But you can also stretch your feet kind of outward if you have somewhere sitting in the middle. But this is an amazing solution if you don't have a passenger in the middle, just on the 2 sides. Then you don't lose anything and you still get to have a chilled drink or a warm drink depending on what you want. So it's a great solution, but just keep that in mind. With the measurements that we showed you earlier, you do lose some space. So that's everything I know about this refrigerator slash heater, and I showed you all the testing, I showed you how to do the installation, talk about all the measurements. What are your thoughts? Would you get it for your Tesla Model Y? I wish this was applicable for Model 3 as well, but they don't make that product because the Model 3 space is really small in the front. So for Model Y, this is a great product, but I'm really interested in knowing your feedback. Would you get it for your Tesla Model Y? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are the future recommendations for future products to improve this? Please let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to check this product out, go to the TLER website in the description below and use discount code Shiva Tesla to save significant amount of money. As I said, they're having a huge sale in the month of August, so the prices that you see today might even go down in the future, but you can always save using the discount code. Thank you very much for your continued support to the channel. We are growing every day and it just warms my heart to see all your super sweet and thoughtful comments that you put on the comment section, all of the support that you have provided, sharing our videos with your friends and families, using our referral link to purchase Tesla. It means a lot to us, and we have so many new products that are coming to the channel soon. So please continue to give our videos thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share, comment, anything you can do to help us grow. Please come back again for another Tesla video.